One of my friends used to work at this place, and there was like this older guy. He said, I wouldn't know what to do. I'd probably tip it on the ramp. And, and tip it on ramp, very working class reference of wheelbarrowing cement. They are so attractive, I'd probably tip it on the ramp. It's kind of funny. Like we say it all the time. Like, this is English northern working class culture running through this whole response. And it is funny, but also we need to be like, no. Stop tipping it on the ramp. Let's get curious about said chick. And if you have got the analogy now, it's to do with earlier on this week, I was sat in one of the local cafes here in Canggu in Bali. In walks this girl, European looking, I guess, absolutely stunning. And my initial reaction was like, Jesus Christ. Like, I've been hit in the face by this goddess who has just walked in and torn my face off, metaphorically. I caught myself in that moment, and I realized this is something that us guys, and I would presume girls as well, but I can only speak from my experience as a straight bloke, male, as a straight man, but it may apply as well across sexes and preferences. I'm sure it would, as long as there's like this masculine, feminine balance and kind of choose your flavor. But I think, like, my mates who I grew up with will be totally familiar with this. We almost would see a stunning girl and pretty much count ourselves out of the running in the gesturing that we would do between ourselves with just like, fucking hell, whoa, look at that, like, and the underlying kind of emotional tenor of that is basically, she's too good for me, she's too good for us. Like, there's no chance. Look how amazing she is. So what we'll do instead is just kind of have a bonding moment between us of just how fit she is, and how we've got no chance, but we can kind of feel okay together in this, just like, bloody hell. And I realized that that's kind of conditioned my response when I'm in an environment on my own. So there's kind of like, there's two main things I feel that are going on here. So there's one, there's the conditioned response that we've learnt as males growing up together, etc. And then two, there is this classic chimp monkey mind, just like, oh, see attractive woman, have attractive response, make manly noises. And I used to speak about the sort of masculine vigor, sexual energy in the past as a positive indicator of like healthy testosterone levels. Like, if a girl walks past and then you're going like, whoa, like, that's like a good sign, you know, because you don't want to be, there are so many people, I'm led to believe, as far as the data is concerned, that have low testosterone, low sperm count, low libido, and this is why we're seeing a huge generation swathe of males that are just falling behind. And a lot of young men don't understand how to be a man anymore. They don't understand what kind of positive masculinity is, if that's even a term, or just masculinity, not the toxic one. As I came to the end of my 20s, after a decade plus of laddish debauchery, I started to feel like I needed to kind of like sanitize that version of myself. Like, oh, if you have sexual drive, that means you are this disgusting, toxic male who only thinks about one thing or whatever. And guys, you'll be familiar with that line from Girlfriends and Wives, like, you're only interested in one thing. And it's like, well, no, but yeah. That's also like that is part of our evolution. Not that we should just turn into chimpanzees, but it's like, okay, let's work with this. So that's giving you the context on why I would argue in favor of this kind of very natural vigor and sexual drive, which you can allow you to utilize that energy to positive pursuits. Protection rather than aggression, productivity, industriousness. And even with the aggression piece, like, aggression is not a bad thing, provided it is honed in the correct direction and is not flying off the handle or hitting women or beating up people who can't defend themselves or whatever. And it's looking at what are the virtuous traits of masculinity and making sure as men or as masculine men, if you want to be a femboy, that's cool, or as masculine women, that we use that power and that vigor in a way that enhances and protects our society. So now you've got the pretext around this whole topic. Let's go back to the cafe. In the moment when I seen the stunning girl walk in and sit down in the corner, and I'm like, eyes popping out of my head in terms of just amazing beauty, right? And that's fine. Like, we can admire beauty, but again, it's almost like it's the classic. What do they say? What do you hear in like rap videos and stuff? It's like putting that pussy on a pedestal, but we don't have to say it in a disrespectful way. But putting a woman on, or a man putting a woman on a pedestal without actually knowing anything about her other than she looks like she's got great genetics. And it's like, you have given all of your power to the woman in that scenario. We've all experienced the opposite of this, when maybe someone is attracted to you or is pursuing you and you have no interest in them. And I would often think that it was just like coincidental that they continue to be attracted to me despite me not being interested. Like, oh, why aren't they picking up on these signals that I'm not interested? But that's precisely why they are interested, because you're not being needy. You're showing interest in other things, which shows that you have interest in other things. And then that just makes you more and more and more and more attractive to that other person. I think 99% of this is simply that tension, or lack of tension, between you and that other person, because you're not giving the vibes back. And then that just makes you so much more mysterious, etc. So that's the opposite of what would happen in this typical pedestaling behavior that we're discussing. So I have an antidote to this situation, which is called Mascuriosity. Taking your masculine sexual energy and modulating that into a natural curiosity about that person. Actually, girls are pretty good at this. Like, if you've ever been approached by a girl, like, they are very good at the curiosity thing. They're like, oh, hey, like how long have you been here or whatever. So it is like, it's kind of, it has a feminine undertone, but also is a very masculine act. Curiosity is an antidote to so many things. Like, if you are feeling anxious, get curious about it, usually solve it. If you're feeling pain, get curious about it, it'll usually solve it. Like, a good example of this is in training. If you're in doing a hard session, Ross Edgley has talked about this. Super endurance, crazy guy, swam around Britain, etc. Absolutely jacked to the hilt as well. Quite good at CrossFit. I remember him talking once about saying that he just gets curious with the pain. So I tried this out. I particularly remember doing a hard bike session, actually. And when you're on the bike, it's so like mega isolated to your quadricep muscles, and you feel this intense burning. And I would just be like, what is burning? Like, getting curious with it. And when you actually get curious with the thing, kind of dispels the myth, the illusion that your brain has interpreted the signal as. Like, our brains are predicting machines. We are prediction machines. So we only need a small environmental trigger for then us to go, oh, this is horrible. This is painful. So as soon as I feel a little bit of that lactic acid build up, then it's like, it's unbearable. But it's like, actually, what is this feeling? Like, is it pain? Or is it just tingly? Is it just hot? So, curiosity. All right. Let's go back to the cafe. The girl walks in. Rather than me completely pedestaling her in that moment, I can circuit break and I can go, curiosity. Instead of thinking like, oh, she's amazing, she's the most beautiful person I've ever seen, I love her, I want to marry her, I can think, I wonder what her favorite color is. I wonder why she's here. Do you think she's on holiday? Does she work out here? Is she here alone? Is she here with friends? I wonder what she does back home. Is she European? Maybe she was born here. If you are someone who struggles with this will have to be something that you drill over and over and over again until it becomes normal. That's why you do drills in things like MMA and jiu-jitsu, and in the special forces, the army, whatever. The reason they do drills is because to drill that into your brain as a neural pattern so that it becomes the default in the future. So this is neural plasticity that we're talking about, and we can have an impact on the way that our brain interprets certain signals and triggers. And then what you notice is, when you are genuinely curious, that it totally breaks that like anxiety, the pedestaling kind of feeling that you get around talking to an attractive woman. We all know situations when we've seen someone who's beautiful and we speak to them, and then sometimes they're not that interested, or they're not very intelligent, or they're mean, or fill in the blank. Like, so you can't just immediately assume that this person is going to be amazing because they're good looking. Think about that as a strategy. I think that all people who are beautiful are amazing people. Ain't true. And then also, in terms of your own self-worth, it's thinking like, is she good enough for me? Like, I'm not going to just completely fold my hand immediately, but also remind yourself of your worth. What are the things that you've done? Like, what qualities do you have? If your friends were talking about you and were asked to describe you, what would they say? What would they say at your funeral? Who are you? And remind yourself in that moment of, one, who you are, and two, get curious about them. And once you do that often enough, then the curiosity will become the default rather than the fucking hell, Jesus Christ, look at her, bloody hell, I wouldn't know what to do. There's actually a funny story about this. One of my friends used to work at this place, and there was like this older guy, and this is, by the way, this is English northern working class culture running through this whole response. And I remember he said that this guy said, he said, I wouldn't know what to do. I'd probably tip it on the ramp. And, and tip it on ramp. And again, it's a very working class reference of wheelbarrowing cement. And then, like, if you're on a building site, they'll lean like a bit of plywood, where you've got to go up to like different levels of where they're pouring the concrete. And then you've got to kind of take a run up and then take this wheelbarrow up the thing. And then obviously the worst thing you can do on a building site is tip it on the ramp. And if you have got the analogy now, it's to do with ejaculation. And again, it's just like, they are so attractive, I'd probably tip it on the ramp. Like, I wouldn't even get there. I wouldn't, like, so there's no point me like talking to her or whatever. So yeah, so it gives you a little bit of a cultural backstory, and it's kind of funny as well. Like, we say it all the time, like, probably tip it on the ramp, and it is funny, but also we need to be like, no, stop tipping it on the ramp. Let's get curious about said chick. So if any of this has resonated with you, please let me know. I hope it is useful. It's definitely been something that's been helping me when I see beautiful people. I just get curious. Mascuriosity. You heard it here first. Thank you for watching. I will look forward to seeing you in the next one.